Okay, I'm just going to give a little update on how I'm running my dashboard, because my dashboard setup is working pretty good for me. So I have a lot of people ask me about this, and this is just a cheat mount that I actually got used. It's a GLE +6, and it's been working out pretty good. I don't have the key that tightens it, so that sucks, but my phone doesn't fall off when I am recording, so that's good. So on to how I keep it powered so I don't have to worry about it running out of batteries, because that was a huge problem before. Once the GLE dashboard runs out of batteries, unless you have data connection, then you can't use the GLE dashboard, so you're basically stuck on whatever setting it was on. Onto my light or my power setup. So my power setup, I have a USB ran around the handlebar here, and it comes out right here, and it is actually plugged into this battery source. This is a Olight product. I know everyone hates Olight, but I have no affiliation to Olight whatsoever. But this is Olight product that just came out. I cannot even remember what it's called, so I'm gonna have to link that. But again, no affiliation, but I think the Olight's a good product. And it goes to this bulb right here as well. So it's a similar connection to like an RC cable. It's probably like an XC20 or something like that, and it goes to the light. So the light powers off of this USB Type-C rechargeable battery pack, and it powers my phone. So if my phone is on like 10%, I can actually put this thing on there and it'll be 100% after a big ride. So that is a huge plus. So shout out to Olight. Okay, so I wanted to make this video just to show people the dashboard and what you can do. So not only do you have your speedometer here, and you have your tach that's showing you all your amperage. It'll show you, you've obviously seen me riding before, you'll see the throttle off regen on the opposite direction in red, so yellow and green going into red on the tach, and then the red in the opposite direction is your brake, your regen brake. Then you have the ability to put it in reverse, neutral, drive, or park, which is pretty cool. Like right now, just for instance, I can put it in neutral, and I can literally, it's not going to go anywhere. Like you hit the throttle, it's not going to do anything. That's pretty cool. And also I think it's just letting the engine spin freely. So then you got your controller temps, and you got your controller or your motor temp and Bluetooth button. You can lock your screen, so if you're like set on the certain settings and you don't want to be able to change it, you can hit the lock button. There's a Ludacriss and Sport button, Ludacriss up, Sport on the bottom, and my Sport is set to 6,100 watts, and then my Ludacriss is set to 7,000 or 8,000 watts. And you also have the regen. You can just turn on the regen brake on and off on the fly if you want as well with the switch right here. Now you have the ability to go into your Well, obviously you got a night button and a dark day button, and I like the night. Then you go into your settings. This is where it gets super crazy. The first page you have, or basically just dashboard settings. It just changes your RPM gauge, your max speed gauge. You can put a temperature buzzer on, Celsius to Fahrenheit. So for the Americans, I can run it in miles per hour and I can save it. And now when you go back, we have miles per hour tachometer instead. The next setting you have here is a faults page. So if anything's going on, your faults will be in here. It'll tell you all the different faults or issues you've had. So I've had temperature issues on a really hot day. This is your throttle tune set. So if you put a new throttle on, or if you took a crash and your throttle wasn't working properly, you could just start a throttle tune. It's very simple. It bypasses the bike's motor and lets you do 3 hard pulls on the throttle, and then it gets an average, and then it sets it over here, and that's your throttle. Then you'd hit save. In the ABS section, you have the ability to tune your thumb throttle the same way as you do with the regular throttle. You have different braking modes. Because of the issue where I broke my throttle, or my thumb brake, I had to turn it off. So but usually I would run separate regen brake and roll off throttle regen. But you can also see you have e-brake, motor cutoff, no reverse, no regen, or wheelie mode, no regen. But I find that you can do way better wheelies in the roll-off throttle regen mode. And then you would also change your brake setting in your ABS, the percentage that you're braking to around 5% engine torque, throttle off regen. So when you're doing a wheelie and you go too far, or you're at the right spot, you basically feel the bike pulling back with 5% force, and it's a lot nicer for me anyway, but to each their own. But that's what's really great about this setup, is you can really tweak it, just make it really customized to you. This is a motor, so there's a part of here you're not supposed to ever tune, so just do not tune this part. I had some issues. I thought it was due to changing these numbers, but I had actually broken my regen braking switch, so the bike was cogging. You want to make sure that you save the parameters, and that is one of the cool things about this setup, is if you were to go back to this faults page, on the bottom of the faults page you have a settings history, and you literally have different modes that I have saved. So from the factory, if you were going to change anything, you'd go in here, you'd save your settings to factory settings, and then from there you can basically tweak, and on the fly you can load up your settings. But you need to be in an internet location or have data on your phone, and this phone for me is just basically not a usable phone. It's a dashboard only, so that's been one of the major flaws with the GLE for me. You got a battery setting section here. Once you bypass your battery, you're supposed to change the minimal percentage cell volt to 3 volts right here, so you won't overheat your battery. And then you got some basic vehicle settings here that I've never even really messed with, honestly, but there's a lot of stuff you can do on this bike. You see you have auto connect in the Bluetooth section, and you can see all these different things that you can do. It's very customizable. I forgot to tell you guys that right now you can literally just switch between, if you got a 72 volt, you can literally just switch to the 72 volt setting and you're good to go. The controller will know that you're running 72 volts without you having to do anything. So shout out to GLE. This is the Ludacriss GLE setup, and it's pretty trick. I would recommend it to anyone who's trying to learn how to do nice wheelies, get that extra power out of their original gen bikes, or even their new gen Talarias or Surons. Yeah, shout out to GLE, like I said. Thanks for tuning in, people.